Hey, it's Rachel Cooke, your modern mentor. I'm the founder of Lead Above Noise, where we help leaders activate performance, lead through change, and dial burnout all the way down. If your team or organization is ready to reignite its motivation and drive, I'd love to support you. Shoot me a note at rachel@leadabovenoise.com anytime, and let's talk. And hey, before we dive into today's episode, can I ask a favor? If you're feeling motivated to share your feedback or support to the show in any way, don't forget about the power of a rating or review in your favorite podcast app. Okay, that's my plug. And now, speaking of feeling motivated, are you these days, in general? It feels like I'm seeing people around me climb through sludge, like they're just operating at a lower frequency, and it's feeling harder and harder to just lean in and be productive and do the thing. Are you feeling this at all, or seeing it around you? This dip in motivation? If so, let's try to resist the urge, just for today, to judge it. We try to push through it or blame ourselves or our schedule or our inbox or our willpower. But what if the dip is actually just trying to tell us something? Sometimes a lack of motivation is actually a signal that something needs our attention. So today, let's talk about ways to decode that signal, to move into curiosity over judgment. Let's talk about 4 of the most common scenarios I'm seeing and some ways you might combat it if one of these feels like I'm talking to you. The first one is, honestly, I just don't care that much about this work. Do you ever have that moment where you're staring at a task and your brain is like, hard pass? You're not lazy and you're not broken. You might just be missing a bleep to give in that moment. It can happen when the thing you're working on doesn't naturally connect with anything that actually matters to you. It doesn't light you up. It doesn't feel important. So your brain just gets kind of sleepy. One approach to take here is to challenge yourself to find the care in it. There's almost always a gem of something if we look deeply enough. Find something in the work that you value and connect with that. Like maybe you've been tapped as the data grabber for your team. Anytime your boss has to make a presentation or deliver an update, they're coming to you to find all the data points they need. And this responsibility somehow fails to light you up. But if you take a step back, can you find something that this data is helping you to learn? Can you spot an exciting trend that your boss might find useful? Can you find other data grabbers in your organization and try to build a little community amongst them? Can you practice using the data to tell a bigger story, one that you find even just a little bit compelling? The trick here is to connect the dots. You do not have to love every task, but finding a thread that links to something that matters to you will really help you start to reignite your spark. The next situation I tend to see is, I am just not sure I can do this. Whether it's imposter syndrome or inexperience or whatever else might be holding you back, not thinking we're going to succeed at something makes us really hesitant to get started on it. But here's the thing. Motivation doesn't thrive in a space of doubt. If your brain doesn't believe you can succeed, it's not going to waste energy trying. So where do you begin? Well, start by reminding yourself of a time that you did do something hard. Maybe not the same thing, maybe not even a work thing, but something that just felt intimidating. And then remember that you got through it. You figured it out. Maybe you asked for help, and maybe you failed, but you adjusted and you tried again, and eventually you landed it. Now, break your current task into smaller pieces. Don't think about climbing the whole mountain, just take one step, and then another. And listen, if you've been overestimating how hard this is going to be, try reframing. Ask yourself, what is one thing I could do today that would make this task feel just a little bit easier? Motivation doesn't come from knowing you'll succeed. It comes from believing you can try, and that trying is worth it. The next one I'm seeing a lot is, the world is distracting me, and this work is feeling small. So the world is like a lot right now, and even if we're not consciously thinking about it all the time, our bodies and our brains are really carrying the weight of it. If your motivation is taking a dip because the weight of everything just feels like too much, you are definitely not alone. This is what we call a disruptive emotions trap. It's what happens when our emotional bandwidth is just maxed out. You might feel foggy or restless or weirdly apathetic, and you're feeling depleted. The good news, this confirms your humanity. The move here is not to force yourself to power through, but to pause and just name what's going on. Ask yourself, what have I been absorbing lately from the news, from my socials, from conversations that might be weighing me down? And where am I feeling that heaviness? In my body, in my mood, in my ability to focus? And what would it look like to give myself grace instead of feeling guilt for how I feel? Maybe today the most productive thing you can do is take a walk or journal on what's going on for you, or just give yourself permission to not be your most focused or energized self. And if the news has you angry, try reframing. Ask yourself, is it possible this thing I'm reacting to comes from ignorance or fear and not cruelty? Can I do something small? Can I donate or call or volunteer? Something that makes me feel less powerless. Wherever you land, remember that you're human and you're tired, and your energy will return when you treat yourself with the same compassion you would offer a friend. Sometimes a strategic pause is the thing to reignite your motivation. And when the noise of the world feels overwhelming, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is just tune into yourself, to listen, to care, and to start again one step at a time. The last one I'm seeing a lot is, I just don't know what has me stuck. And this one is sneaky. It shows up when you're avoiding something, but you're not even sure why. Maybe you grab a sick day or you keep pushing something to the bottom of your list. You say, I'm just too busy, but deep down you know something just isn't clicking. So start with a little curiosity. Ask yourself, what exactly is making this feel hard or unappealing? Is it a skill gap, a confidence gap, a missing piece of information? Am I blaming something external that I could actually influence here? Sometimes all it takes is a better strategy, a little planning, a little clarity, or even just talking it through with someone you trust. Motivation loves a clear path. When we remove the fog, the road ahead feels more travelable. And that's when our energy returns. Motivation isn't a switch, it's a signal. And when we listen with care, we can find the way forward. If you want to dig deeper or bring this kind of work to your team, I'd love to help. Reach out to me anytime at rachel@leadabovenoise.com or find me at my website, leadabovenoise.com. If you're loving the show, don't forget to follow Modern Mentor on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks so much for listening and have a successful week. Modern Mentor is a quick and dirty tips podcast. It's audio engineered by Dan Farabent. Our director of podcasts is Brandon Getches. Our podcast and advertising operations specialist is Morgan Christensen. Our digital operations specialist is Holly Hutchings. Our marketing and publicity associate is Davina Tomlin, and our marketing contractor is Nathaniel Hoops.